As a man, you must go through a process of discovering what is true and what is false about the world, and developing absolute and utter competency so you can outcompete other men. Don't you wake up and think, how do I become the best man on the planet? Don't you wake up and look at yourself deep in your own eyes in the mirror and say, how do I become the most fearsome competitor on the face of the planet? How do I become that guy nobody wants to compete against? I don't think anything good in life happens by accident. If you find a person who's in fantastic shape and you say to them, how did you get in such good shape? They very rarely say, oops, I don't know, it just came to me. They say, I had to get up and plan for it and train specifically and eat specifically and do specific things to end up looking this way. They had to try very hard for it. Don't say, oops, I just got rich, it was an accident, I don't know. You just said you're a normal man. Let me explain something. The normal man is not acceptable in this hyper-competitive world. Normal means in the middle. Middle is not good enough. You must be the top 10%, the top 10 percentile, especially as a man. All the women want the top 10%, all the money goes to the top 10%, all the status goes to the top 10%. You cannot be a normal man anymore. Perhaps 50, 60 years ago, you could be a normal man with a normal job, have a normal life and a normal wife and a normal house and a normal car and be happy. But the world we are now living in is proving that being a normal man is nothing more than slavery. They've just proven it to all of us. Listen to me carefully. They just proved it in this last 3 years of this imaginary fucking garbage they were fucking locking us all up for. Being a normal, law-abiding citizen with a normal income and a normal wage and one passport and a normal wife is going to leave you depressed. Sooner or later, it's going to leave you. You're going to end up fucking suicidal and miserable. Only men on this earth who are happy in the modern world of hyper-competitiveness are exceptional individuals. And every single woman wants them. The famous, rich, super important, tall, strong, fucking handsome, top G's. Being a normal dude ain't gonna cut it. You know the problem with being a normal dude? I'll tell you the problem. If you're a normal guy, your chick fucks normal guys. Guess what that means? It means everyone's competition. The guy who delivered your pizza might just take your bitch. Is that the life you want to live? No. Don't focus on the girl, focus on yourself. If you're worried about the girl and not worried about yourself, you're gonna be wasting time and energy, right? It's easy. If you had to win a race, Abraham Lincoln said it. If I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 5 hours sharpening my axe. It's the same with nearly everything in life. The better you become as a man, the easier everything else becomes. We're all on a continuous journey for self-improvement, and if you try your absolute best every single day, then you don't have to look at what's bad about yourself. It's not about where you currently are, it's about where you're headed. The path I'm headed on is the same path that I've always been headed on. I've never made any large mistakes in my life. I've never been the guy who was a drug addict and went to rehab, or the guy who was depressed and became better. I've always been the person who woke up every day, did what he was supposed to do, tried his hardest, was honest, never lied, was on time, worked hard, and got exactly where I wanted to be in life. And now the entire world is mine. I'm the most stupid person on the planet with hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm the top G. And the way I am headed, I'm going to do nothing but continue my ascent into absolute achievement. This is who I am as a person because of my daily habits. Develop an ego. Egos are extremely important. Egos have always existed. Throughout ancient history, men, kings, went to war, and millions of people died because someone insulted him because of his ego. Egos are a natural human thing, and they're extremely important. And the modern world tells men to not have an ego. And they do that because it makes you weak and easy to control. You can only have an iron mind if you are so sure of yourself, so egotistical that nobody can break it. So an ego is extremely important. Now, for the first lesson, we built your enemy, and we built this perfect person you're going to be battling against. And there's a very specific reason we did it based on a version of you. One, because it shows who you could be. But the other reason is also because if your ego is based around beating this person, you get to go through life and be a nice guy to everyone else. People say don't have an ego because they think that if they give you an ego, you have an ego, you're going to be egotistical to the people you meet. I'm a nice guy to everyone I meet because they're not my enemy. I'm not combating against them. I'm a nice guy to every person. I'm a nice guy to every woman. I say please and thank you. I'm a nice person, but I do have a massive ego. But my ego comes into play when I'm fighting against my enemy. Listen, did you fuck your wife yesterday? Maybe you did. So imagine this guy fucked your wife. He would have fucked her better than you did. And this should inspire your ego. The person you're battling against is beating you. And this person is who you could be. That's what's the most annoying thing about it. This person's outlifting you in the gym. They're making more money. They're fucking their wife better. They got more girls. They're rolling around a nicer car. This could be you, but it's not you. Only because you don't have the motivation to do what this individual does. Nothing to do with genetics, nothing to do with luck. This person is you and they're beating you. And this should inspire your ego. Most people's egos work against them, and the way it works against them is they feel entitled.
They wake up and they think, oh, I deserve a nice car. I'm a special person. I deserve a nice car. And then when they don't get a nice car, they get disheartened and annoyed. That is not the right way to use the ego. The ego should be used as in, I deserve a nice car, so I'm going to go fucking get it. That's an ego. So this person who you've built, your enemy, he has a nice car because he has worked harder than you. So he has a nice car and you don't have one. Whose fault is that? There should be no reason, no excuse for you to not do everything that you believe you need to do to be the best person you can be if you've properly created this enemy. You've looked at this list, 25 to 30 points long of everything this guy does. And you should look at that list and think, fuck, this is who I'm competing against. I need to start getting my shit together. And your ego should stop you from wanting to lose. Otherwise, day after day after day, you are losing to this individual. This individual is beating you day after day after day. You can't let that happen. Your ego is extremely important, and you only have one person you're competing against, and it's the person you created, which is nothing more than a better version of yourself. So day by day, you're losing this battle, and that should make you uncomfortable, it should make you nervous, it should make you anxious. So you start to feel that way, because this is the truth. If you've truly imagined who your enemy is, and you truly imagine them beating you, you should not be able to relax. The fact that you can still sit and watch TV means you need to go back to the first video of this course and start again, and do it properly, and do it well enough so that you can no longer sit still. You look at yourself in the mirror and go, okay, yeah, I've got some muscle, and this guy, he's got rid of this. I've got a little bit of money. This guy, he hustles non-stop. He's on Twitter non-stop. He's starting businesses. He's learning how to make websites. He's trading crypto. He's got all of Tate's programs. He's got this. He's got that. You need to get your shit together. And if you do that properly, you'll start to feel nervous. You'll imagine the version of you that is as amazing as they could be. And then you look at yourself and realize that you're failing. It's reality. And you'll sit there and go, fuck. Now, when you feel anxious, there's only one thing you can do. You can either sit there and be anxious like a little girl and be worried about it, or you can put some things in action. I was nervous before every single fight, and that's when I felt the best, because I was afraid. I was afraid of losing. And you need to be afraid of losing day by day throughout your life. You know who your enemy is, you know what he's doing, and you're losing day by day. Now, if you go to the gym and you beat your personal best, let's say the most you've ever benched is 100 kilo, you go there, you bench 105 kilo. The days you beat your personal best are the days you've beaten this individual. That's the only day you're allowed to claim a victory. If you beat your personal best, you can claim a victory. I went there, I did more than I've ever done, I beat this guy. But if you're not beating your personal best, he is beating you. And that should inspire you to try and smash through your own records day after day after day. The most money you've ever made in a month, the most weight you've ever lifted, the most girls you've ever spoke to. It doesn't matter what goals you set, you have to understand you're going to spend a lot of time losing. And all this time you're spending losing is going to damage your ego, and that's going to make you anxious and unhappy and nervous, and you're going to put all that nervous energy into smashing your personal records so you have those days of victory. Everything compounds. What most people don't understand is they think that life just changed overnight. Everything compounds. People say to me, oh, Tate, how did you become successful? I can't tell you the one thing that made me successful. I was always driven, motivated. I understood how to make good connections. I looked after the people who looked after me. I always knew what the right thing to do was. I didn't drink for many years of my life. I didn't do this, I didn't do that, but I did do this. And it all comes together to success. It's not about one thing. A lot of people go through life with a very average attitude to life, and they wait for their one big break. Yeah, maybe you'll get it, but that's not the reality. If you're hoping for a big break, you may as well just keep buying lottery tickets. You have to build your big break. And you're going to do that with 1,000 tiny victories. It's a change of mindset that's going to allow you to put together 1,000 tiny victories. And the change of mindset is simply understanding that there is a version of you that exists somewhere in the multiverse, which is much better than you are right now. They have the same star, the same genetic composition, but they are destroying you in every measurable metric, purely because they don't get lazy, don't get tired, don't watch TV, don't waste their time. They have an iron mind. And that person is going to become you now. That is who you are fighting against.
When it comes to life, it's easy to keep winning. You have to keep the momentum up, right? It's hard to get going, but once you get going, you have to keep it up. So just make sure you never lose it. Don't fall off. Don't do anything stupid. It's pretty easy to win if you never lose. I started making a lot of money when I was maybe 27, 28. But my life was always on track, bro. I never had a big mistake. I never had a bad period and had to reform. I never made any large mistakes. I did the right thing every single day, day after day. I knew what I was supposed to do. I think the universe is very giving, and if you're the kind of person who turns up on time and works hard and does what they're supposed to do and is never lazy, then it's always going to give you what you want. I've yet to see somebody who tries their best to get something and genuinely gives it their all and doesn't get it. I've never seen it. So I think you can have anything you want in the world. It's just a matter of whether you truly want it or you want to say you want it. And also, I think a lot of It's player versus player out here in the world. Every dollar you want, every girl you want, every car you want, somebody else wants. And we're fortunate that a lot of people talk about wanting things, and I think a lot of people are brutally lazy. You can outwork 95% of people by just simply working harder than them. You'll have anything. You have anything.